No! What's up, my cool dudes? I'm Dylan Dude, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This time I'm going to be profiling my Odd Eyes Magician deck for you. Now, a bit about this because I was actually going to do a different deck profile, but I couldn't get the sleeves for the deck on time, so we decided to do this as a deck profile for you so you don't miss out on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Upload for this week. So this deck is getting a couple of cards for new support next set, which is about a week's release away, sneak peeks this weekend. But anyway, I thought I'd go profile this for you beforehand, and so I can come back and do it after so you can see what's changed in the deck. So without further ado, let's actually get started. I run 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Odd Eyes is pretty much your namesake of the deck. He's basically the standard protag monster for Yu-Gi-Oh! 2500 attack, 2000 defense, level 7. Now the thing with Odd Eyes is a really good card because in battle he does double the damage. So let's say your opponent's got a monster with 1500 attack, Odd Eyes goes into it, you'll do 2000 damage instead of 1000. So it's really good for hitting life points up. And its pendulum ability is let's see, you can reduce this battle damage from an attack involving a pendulum monster you control to 0. But during your end phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your hand with 1500 or less attack. You can only use each pendulum effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon once per turn. So I've never actually been in a situation where I've had to use him to stall to use his damage cancelling effect, but I've only used him for the search effect in the pendulum zone. So I can search out a scale for next turn. Next card I've run is Triple Oath Dragon Magician because you always run 3 of this guy. I was experimenting with 1 or 2, but 3 is the absolute number you need to run. Oath Dragon's a level 6 2100 beta, so he helps make Utopia Beyond, which can lead to OTK plays. Yeah, basically he's a scale 2, which means he's a really good low scale. The lowest level in the deck is level 3. Level 3. Well, level 1 Odd Eyes Unicorn, but you don't Pendulum Unicorn, you only use it as a scale or. So he lets you pendulum summon monsters from 3 or high. And his pendulum ability is, so if you have a magician card in your other pendulum zone, you can add 1 face-up Odd Eyes pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, except the Oath Dragon Magician. You can only use this effect of Oath Dragon Magician once per turn. And his monster effect is, if this card is normal special summon, you can target 1 Magician pendulum monster or Odd Eyes monster in your graveyard. Except the Oath Dragon Magician add to your hand, you can only use that effect once per turn. So what I really love about this guy is that if you go for an Xyz play, if you went for an Xyz play last turn, you can pendulum summon this guy, gets one of the, if you've detached the material from something, you can get it back. Or if your Xyz monster is destroyed, you can get an Xyz material back, which really is good. It helps with the recycling and helps you get resources you already use. I run 2 Dragon Pit Magician just because I only have 2. I would easily bump this up to 3 because most of my deck is a low scales. I'll show you what to take out later. With Dragon Pit Magician, he's a level 7, so he works well with Odd Eyes. He's a scale 8, so he can actually pendulum summon Odd Eyes. And his pendulum ability is, if you have a magician card in your other pendulum zone, you can discard 1 card to target 1 spell and trap on the field and destroy it. So he's also a really decent wall. 2700 defense points is a bit difficult to get over unless the opponent's playing ABCs or Blue Eyes. Okay. Next monster I run is Double Zhang K Magician. Zhang Ke, I don't see a lot of people run this card. I just run him for the Rebellion play. Man, probably I'll keep him in when Raging Dragon comes out in what's it called? Raging Tempest, because his pendulum ability actually lets you summon Raging Dragon and Rebellion. So let's say you have 2 Odd Eyes and a Dragon Pit on board. You can overlay one of the Odd Eyes plus the Dragon Pit, XC summon Absolute Dragon. Use Junkei's pendulum ability to so you can overlay Absolute Dragon with the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon still on your field, and that's an instant Rebellion play, and you get Rebellion's effect off, so that makes it really good. Only downside to him is that he is a 3 scale. That is probably the only issue I have with this guy, because I run quite a few level 3s in this deck, and usually they're all I have to summon when I have this guy. But what can you do? 2,500 attack points is really good. Oh yeah, and his monster ability is once per turn you can target 1 light monster in the field and negate that face of monster's effects until the end phase. So really, if your opponent's about to tag out with Dragon Buster, you can use Junkei to negate that effect. I think you can anyway. I'm not sure how rulings go around that. Anyway, next monster I run 1 Wisdom Eye. I'd definitely run more Wisdom Eyes if Konami didn't hit him on the ban list for... I honestly don't know what Konami's deal with the pendulum monsters was, because they wanted to bring out a new broken mechanic, then they just hit Pen Call, they hit Wisdom Eye to 1 and Wisdom Eye to 1. Which really makes no sense in my opinion, but hey, what can you do? He's a scale 5, so you'd only really use this guy for his pendulum ability, which is, if you have a Magician or Perform Power card in your other pendulum zone, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place 1 Magician pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone, except Wisdom Eye Magician. So he is good just for searching. So if I have him and for example, Earth Dragon in my pendulum zones, I can destroy Wisdom Eye, search out a Dragon Pit, and then I'll have a complete scale. I wasn't. And he is a level 4 1500 beta, so he does help with dark. So he can be used to make level 4s. So I rarely go into rank 4s in this deck, so... But even then, I still have quite a few of them just in case, because utility is really everything. And I just bumped my tripod, sorry about that. 1 Noble Dragon Magician. It's your only tuner monster of the deck. It's another scale 5, but you don't put it in the pendulum zone. A really good thing about tuner is that it helps you actually make a Meteor Burst Dragon, because Meteor Burst is it's a really solid level 7 monster for any pendulum deck. Any pendulum deck that can make level 7 synchros, I'd easily run play at least 1 Meteor Burst Dragon. But anyway, back to Noble Dragon. His pendulum ability is, unless you have a Magician card in your other pendulum zone, destroy this card. So really, if you want to, you can play him in your pendulum zone turn 1 of the game. Your first turn of the game, let him go to extra deck, and yes, you search out then you have a tuner monster for later to go for one of your level 4s, and his ability cannot be used for a synchro material, except for the special summon of a dragon type synchro monster. This card is used as a synchro material. Unless all other synchro materials are Odd Eyes monsters, place this card on the bottom of the deck. This card is in your hand and graveyard. You can target 1 level 7 or higher Odd Eyes monster you control, reduce this level by 3, and special summon this card. So thing with Noble Dragon, so unless it's the other monsters you use in Synchro Summon are Odd Eyes, it'll go to the bottom of the deck, which means you can which probably isn't a good thing, but then again, it'll put something back in your deck if you need a target to search out later with Pendulum Call. If you draw that late game, you can probably search out that as something else. one Dragon Pulse Magician. Dragon Pulse is the low scale equivalent to Dragon Pit. And instead of discarding to destroy spell and traps, he discards to destroy monsters. So, yeah. Pretty much a standard 1800 vanilla beta, so nothing too special about this guy. One Acrobatic Magician. Now, I would not recommend playing this card. I just have it in there because I cannot get my hands on a third of the Dragon Pit. I'd easily recommend taking if you have third Dragon Pit, take this guy out. All he is really good for is if he gets destroyed by battle, you can put him in your Pendulum Scale and have a low scale like that. Yeah. I do run a small Magispector engine. I run 2 Bambuku of the Raccoon Bambuku and 1 of the Unicorn Kieran. This is your standard Magispector lineup. Some people do run triple Bambuku, which it would get a little cloggy, I'd think, but I don't know. Kieran these two search. Kieran just bounces itself back to the hand to bounce something on your opponent's field back. So that's a really standard thing. Almost any Pendulum deck will run that, just because. I also run 1 Mirage Dragon just for another high scale. Nothing too special about him. For Performer Pals, I only run 2, but I run 1 Odd-Eyes Unicorn and 1 Skullcrobat Joker. Now, these two, in my experience, have been very good. These two work well together with Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Because if you have Unicorn in Scales, Skullcrobat and Odd-Eyes on field, when Odd-Eyes attacks, you can use this Unicorn's Pendulum ability to increase Odd-Eyes' attack points by the attack points of Skullcrobat, which really helps out. And Skullcrobat itself is a searcher when it's normal summon, so you can pretty much grab any Odd-Eyes or you can add a Performer Pal or Magician or Odd-Eye, so it searches out really anything you need, making it a really good card. It is at 1 on the ban list, which is kind of upsetting, because I get it was banned during the Pepe format, but jeez, Konami, that format's long gone. You destroyed Pepe. Bring up Joker and Whistle My Back, please. For Odd-Eyes or Performer Power monsters, for other Pendulums, I run 2 Aether, the Evil Empowering Drake. This guy is a really good monster. He is level 6 like Oath Dragon, so he can't help with the Utopia Beyond plays. And also, when he's normal special summoned, I can target a card on the field and banish it. So it really does help. You can get rid of, so say it can't be destroyed, but your opponent has a card that can't be destroyed by battle card effects. You just summon this guy, banish it. And he has a 2300 beta, so he's kind of difficult to get over. Final monsters I run are 3 copies of Archfiend Eccentric. Eccentric's pretty much you put him in your Pendulum Zone. While he's there, you can destroy him to destroy a spell and trap card on the field. And when he's in a monster zone, you can summon him, target 1 monster on the field, and destroy it. So, pretty good for removing problematic cards. Okay, moving on to spells. I do run triple Sky Iris and triple Terraforming. Put these there. Sky Iris, you must run triple of this card, because Sky Iris is the best field spell, the best spell card in the deck. You play this, destroy 1 card on your field to search out an Odd-Eyes card. So let's say I open up with a Let's say I open up with a Bunbuku, a Kieran, and a a Bunbuku, Well, really, if you open up Kieran, you can just put it in your Pendulum Zone, Sky Iris it so it goes to the extra deck. And then hopefully you can search out your Pendragon. Hopefully you'll have a Scale 8 in hand. Pendulum Summon Kieran back, so put the and then during the end phase you get Odd Eyes' Search. It really, really does wonders for the deck, especially with triple it. And it also protects Perform Power, Magician, and Odd Eyes monsters from effects while they're in the Pendulum Zone. It protects them from being targeted, so it also really helps in that sense. Let's see, moving on. For a bit of hand consistency, I run 2 copies of Ignite Reload. Now with Reload, I've actually versed a guy who was playing Magifoes, Magispector Metal Foes, and he explained that he played Ignite Reload in that deck because he didn't have the Bunbukus. But I had the Bunbukus, but I didn't have anything else to play in this deck. Then I just thought, yeah, this really does wonders for hand consistency. Let's say you open up Triple Eccentric, let's say you open up Triple Eccentric with this, and what's this? You theoretically you can what Reload does is that it can summon. You can reveal any number of Pendulum monsters from your hand, shuffle them into the deck, draw the same number of cards plus 1. The guy explained to me it's not a plus 1. In the sense, it's a plus 0. It's pretty much a fresh start. Especially, so let's say 3 Eccentrics, 1 Aether, and 1 Reload. I could shuffle the 2 of the Eccentrics and the Aether back into the deck to draw 4 new cards, which can lead on to more play, so it is really good in that sense. I run 2 MST. MST is basically just for spell and trap extra spell and trap removal. 1 Odd Eyes Fusion. Fusion just lets you summon Vortex. Lets you have a way to summon Vortex Drain without relying on Absolute's ability. And also, if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can use up to 2 Odd Eyes monsters in your extra deck for the fusion summon. Really, so I usually use 1 Meteor Burst, 1 Absolute, or if I need to, 1 Vortex Dragon, one Vortex to summon the other. And I run 1 Pen Call. Pen Call is just to discard a card, add 2 Magicians from your deck. Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand until the end of your opponent's next turn after this card's resolved. Monsters magicians cards in your Pendulum Zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only activate 1 Pendulum Call per turn, and I can't activate this if I've activated a Pendulum Monster's effect this turn. So it's really you lose the ability to use Pendulum Monster's effects, but it can help you set up for next turn. Final spell card I run is 2 Dark Hole. Dark Hole's just to destroy stuff, and you're not losing anything if you destroy Pendulum monsters. They just go back to your extra deck, and you can Pendulum them right back. And final 2 cards in the main deck are 2 Royal Decree. I don't run any other trap cards. Royal Decree is just there to shut down my opponent's strikes, solemns, mirror forces. Basically just to say, so I can actually complete my plays without being interrupted. Okay, we'll move on to extra pretty quickly. 2 Vortex Dragon. Vortex Dragon, basically, when you special summon, I can target a face-up attack position monster on my opponent controls and return it to their hand. And during every player's turn when a spell and trap is activated, I can shuffle 1 face-up Pendulum monster in my extra deck back to my main deck, and then I can negate the activation and destroy it. See what's on there. For Synchros, I run 2 Meteor Burst Dragon. Meteor Burst, he is a really good card. When he's special summoned, I can target a card in my Pendulum Zone, special summon it. But Meteor Burst can't attack the turn I activate this effect. But during the During the battle phase, my opponent's monsters cannot activate their effects, so that really does help get over some problematic cards. Final synchro I run is Moonlight Dragon, just because I needed another level 7, and Moonlight Dragon, I can, when this card special summon, I can, when this card special summon or an opponent's monster, level 5 or higher monster is special summoned to my opponent's side of the field, I can target one special summon monster on the field and return it to the hand, so I can get rid of, I don't have an out. It doesn't have an out for cards like Crystal Wing unless you get really lucky and they've already used their effects. Crystal Wing's effect this turn, but still is a good card. You can force back so many different cards with this. I just can't think of them all right now. For Xyz rank 4s, I run 1 Castell, 1 Honor Arc, 1 Trapeze Magician, and 1 Dark Rebellion. Really, the only card that needs explaining in this pile is Trapeze, because basically Trapeze is, you can you never take damage less than this card's attack points. Less than or equal to this card's attack points. So he is 25. Trapeze is 2,500. So really, you're not taking 2,500 or less attack points with this guy. And during Evil Play's main phase, I can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 card on the monster on the turn player's card. It can make a second attack during the battle phase, but it gets destroyed at the end of the battle phase, which really does mess my opponent up. Even if I usually do it for myself. I don't usually give my opponents a chance to attack again. Seriously, who does that? For rank 6s, 1 Utopia Beyond, that's all you need. It sets up for OTKs. When it's summoned, makes your opponent, the attack points of all your opponent's monsters to 0. So pretty much it's just here to push for the OTK. On rank 7s, I do run 2 Absolute Dragon. Pretty much it's a rank 7 Utopia. Plus when it's destroyed, but when negate the attack, then I can special summon an authorized monster from my hand or graveyard. And this Xyz summon card is sent to the graveyard. I can special summon 1 authorized monster from my extra deck except authorized Absolute Dragon. So I can summon what's it called? Vortex. I can summon Rebellion. I can summon Meteor Burst. It's a really good attack points as well. 1 Rebellion, as I was telling you earlier, the Rebellion play in this deck is really good. So, and most decks do run. Really, the only deck that doesn't run level 7 or lower monsters these days is Blue Eyes and maybe ABC Dragon Busters, not below level 7. So it is really good to run that. I will take this out. I'm most likely going to take this out when Raging Dragon comes out next set. So hopefully I can scoop up a Raging Dragon. Final rank 7, final Xyz monsters for the decks are standard. 1 Flare Metal and 1 Big Eye. It's just standard. I don't need to say anything about these. These are just 2 generic rank 7s that are really good, that any player who can make rank 7 should run. Okay guys, this is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, could you please show your appreciation by smashing that like button down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to tell me what decks you want to see in the future.